and welcome to this new episode of Educology. The educational sector is one of the numerous industries that suffered a massive setback due to the ongoing coronavirus crisis. Ever since the pandemic was declared, educational institutions were shut down to protect students and teachers. Like many other sectors, teaching shifted online, and at the time it seems to be an effective solution. However, as time passes on and the pandemic refuses to make its exit, there are a variety of issues cropping up as students, teachers are yet to adapt to the modern virtual classrooms. In today's episode, we are going to shed light on remote teaching as a whole with our permanent guest, Dr. Laurance Ajaka, the pedagogical expert. Our second host is Dr. Eddy Hourany, doctor in computer science. In course of our episode, he will provide us with a plan and techniques teachers need to cope with remote teaching. Hello, Dr. Laurance, and hello, Dr. Eddy.
Hello, dear. Greetings to you, to your host, to your guest, and to all our viewers all over the world.
Doctor, let's start. Are there issues cropping up as students, teachers are yet to adapt to the remote teaching learning process?
Of course, in the midst of the COVID-19 outbreak, many educators across the country and around the world scrambled to shift their practice from in-person to remote teaching within a matter of days. This global pandemic exposed a significant gap in teacher preparation and training for emergency remote teaching, including teaching with technology to ensure continuity of learning for students at a distance. Continuing the ineffective model of remote learning implemented in the spring will make those problems worse. As it happened in the spring, what will be implemented now, if it continues at the same rate, it will be a bigger problem. Educators had minimal experience with expanded full-time online instruction. They were given insufficient face-to-face training and offered too few resources without high quality training. They will continue to replicate instructional approaches they used in their brick and mortar classrooms before the pandemic. Teachers have the most significant impact on student learning, but without ongoing support and training, individual educators cannot take full ownership of technology-enhanced education. What we need, or what needs to be at the front of any development and implementation of remote learning professional development is the commitment of the entire school community to provide high quality, personalized and engaging content and instruction. No matter whether teaching is in person or remote, schools need consistent and clear instructional practices and expectations that can be supported to ensure highly effective teaching and learning. We must develop a school culture that embodies a shared sense of purpose, commitment and responsibility for giving students the best education possible. But if we remain like that, the situation is going worse.
Dr. Eddy, based on what Dr. Ajaka just mentioned, is there a clear plan that can help teachers overcome to some extent the mentioned issues?
Yes, of course. We will be talking today about a lot of tips that can be followed by teachers to prepare that online course, to make it fun, engaging, and enjoyable. First of all, let me start by telling teachers that they should be planning their classes. Just like regular classes, online classes should be planned, written down on a paper. Use a clear syllabus, send it to the students, let them get ready for the class before the class started. Prepare and master technology.
Excuse me, can I interrupt?
Yes.
Interrupt in here. They are going to have the syllabus, or the syllabus should be preset for them, especially that they don't have experience in online learning.
Yes, of course.
Teaching, sorry.
A syllabus should be prepared at the beginning of the semester or at the beginning of the academic year for the school students, and it should be sent to the students.
So we have to provide them with a syllabus or with syllabi that's ready to be implemented, and they should be trained.
Yes, teachers should be trained on creating a syllabus that is. And they have to understand that a syllabus for online courses is different than exactly. It's different than face-to-face. Exactly. So they have to adapt and to change and mold.
So the way we are using now online teaching is very wrong, because we are taking the books that we used to use during face-to-face teaching, and
we're moving
we are teaching the
students
classroom
to online or to the
That's
office.
right.
It's not remote teaching or learning.
Exactly.
So what they should do, teachers, in this?
Yeah, I have seen teachers giving courses to students online by just sharing their screen and reading a file on their computer, which is very wrong. This is so boring for the students. They will not be concentrating.
Demotivating.
It is demotivating. They can just send this file to the student, and the students can read them by themselves. So after planning your class, you have to master technology. And when we say master technology, we mean by choosing the right computer, a reliable computer, a good internet connection, and choose the best system to work on. Teachers need to have consultants to help them choose what system should be adapted, because we cannot say that this is the right system. A system should be adapted. Different systems exist. They should be adapted to what the teacher and the courses need.
But how can we have such a thing if we don't have trained our instructors and the students on what we call it digital citizenship?
Exactly.
They don't know how to use technology properly. How can we let them have tools they are not used to, and let them mess with the lives or the future of our
Of course. The problem with the COVID-19 pandemic is that this shift from face-to-face education to online education has been so quick. And usually this kind of shifts needs time and needs to prepare the students. It takes time to prepare the teachers and so on. So unfortunately, we don't have this time right now to do it, because one day we were at school, the second day we're having courses online. We need to adapt. So what we have to do now is to provide teachers with the right training. Schools should get people to train their teachers.
True, but because what's happening just nowadays is it's creating a psychological conflicts to the teachers, the parents, and the learners as well.
Exactly. Our teachers were not taught online. Our teachers, probably when they were at school, they didn't even have computers. Probably computer didn't exist back then. So we have to teach teachers.
Who is responsible of training our teachers to online learning?
Oh, it's a big question. Actually, it's a whole system. It's a whole system. It's the school, it's the government.
Let's start by the Ministry of Education.
Ministry of Education, followed by the Ministry of Telecommunication, to provide the right internet connectivity to the people. Otherwise, teaching online will not be effective.
It's the big problem, having an internet connection.
So before making the process work and prepare such a plan, we're supposed to have a kind of harmony between what we call it Ministry of Education, Ministry of Communication, and the Ministry of Power, right?
Exactly. The problem with some countries is that the lack of internet, the lack of power or electricity. So unfortunately, not all students can attend the course at the same time. Courses may be less engaging, and we will talk about this later on how to fix those issues. But for the moment, for the current moment, we cannot solve the internet with a magic wand or the electricity problem. We have to adapt. We have to adapt until other things are fixed. So train the teachers. We recommend teachers to watch this episode and share it with other teachers so they can learn how to prepare and master online courses. After you master technology and understand what tools needs to be used, you have to set up an adequate working environment. Working at home is not easy. People think, yes, I will be working at home, feeling at ease in my place, but no, because you will be distracted. Some teachers have kids, children, they have chores to finish at home. Just set your environment. Place yourself in a way that you will be away from distractions. Inform your family that right now I'm giving a course, I'm working. It means you cannot talk with me. It's like just when I'm at the school, you cannot reach me because you're home.
Dr. Eddy, it's so difficult for a teacher and a mom to be giving her class at the same time her kids needs her because they are having their online classes.
But this is an exceptional case.
We have to.
They have to adapt to it. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we remain like that for the whole year. That means they should adapt with the current situation until it is cleared.
Exactly, and also we have to inform teachers that you as teacher know that you have also kids. You have to take care of them. But the problem is, if the teacher is giving clear instructions to the students, and we will talk about this later on, the more clear the instructions are, the less the student needs his parents, because they can work by themselves, they can learn by themselves, and if the students are provided with the right trainings to use those tools, they don't need their parents next to them.
Frankly speaking, technology is used for fun. They want it for fun only.
Yes.
They haven't taken it seriously so far. They should take it seriously. It's a tool for learning, for improving our living in a digital world where we can't go back with time. Don't ever think that we will go back to face-to-face classrooms. We will have a kind of blending learning. That blending learning needs a lot of qualifications to be implemented. So let them start to take the fact seriously. Technology is not only for fun.
Of course, I totally agree. Technology is not always for fun. Actually, technology is used in our daily lives without even noticing that it exists in our cars and our telecommunication devices, airplanes, and even our food industry, and so on. So to continue with our online classes, teachers should innovate and simulate discussions. We will be talking about two types of online courses. The first one is teaching by recording a video and sending it to the students so they can watch it at ease whenever the time is available.
But here, concerning the videos, Dr. Eddy, how can the students talk with his teacher, ask his questions?
Yes, exactly. This is the second part of online teaching. So the second part is engaging and discussing with students. So I recommend to do both. You can never use just one. Send a video, a pre-recorded video to your teacher, to your students, to your learners. So it could be a PowerPoint presentation where you are voice over explaining the presentation. It could be an animation. It depends about
it's
what tools we have.
Brainstorming.
Exactly. It will be a brainstorming for the learners. And after that, you will create an online session and you will open this topic for discussion with your students. The students will now be engaging with you as a teacher, engaging with each other and discussing those ideas. So you prepare them before you go online, because in an online course, silence is not good for students. It's totally different than face-to-face. In face-to-face, you can tell your students...
They can't listen for more than 10 minutes.
Exactly. 10 to 15 minutes.
Their attention span is 10 minutes.
Yep.
Exactly, they can't manage. So they must be engaged in the process of learning. Once they are engaged, the teacher will be at ease. She will have the time to manage her class properly without the help of the parents.
Doctor, here, what do you think of the schools that they are adapting 6 hours per day online.
It's not fair because when you start, as we have already mentioned, teaching online is not an easy task. It's new. You need double time to give the task, and the children need as well a lot of time. So basically we can't have more than 30 to 40 minutes for each session, no more than that, and not more than 4 hours per day. It's the same as the Finnish system.
Yes,
of
exactly.
education, not more than 4 hours, 50 minutes each one, and during that time we have to engage the students with the process on condition that those students or those learners are acquainted with the technology in hand.
What do you think, Dr. Eddy, concerning having 6 hours of online education?
It's too much. It's not fair for the students. They will not be learning. It's totally different.
Even
online.
after finishing their 6 hours, they have homework.
You have to take into consideration the fact that the instructors or the teachers are scared that if they don't give the amount given
they have
to
a
the
curriculum
students,
to finish.
their situation will be critical. Maybe they will be dismissed, or somebody complained the other day about the quantity of information, the content given to the students, and they had the reply by saying that it's a resolution from the Ministry of Education. We have to give the content required.
Exactly. Unfortunately.
How can we do that to our children? How can we push them to do something they are not familiar with? How we are teaching them not to give their opinion on something they don't have adequate background about it, and they don't have any background about the technological world. We have to prepare them, first of all, as digital citizens, and then we start working on the plan that he has in hand. By then, they will do very well.
Before we continue to the plan, Dr. Eddy and Dr. Laurance, let's take a short break and we will be right back. Welcome back to Educology. Dr. Eddy, let's continue. What are the tips for a better online teaching?
Of course, we have talked about recording our lectures. Actually, not all students will be able to attend our lectures online at the same time for various reasons. They could be living in other countries, they might be ill or sick or unable to connect to the internet, or the electricity is not available at the moment. So record your courses, send the videos to the students, and they can watch them whenever they have time. Also, remember to show your face on the videos. Researchers have proven that the lectures and the videos that shows the teacher's face is more engaging and is more effective to teach the students. Also, keep your videos short. The attention span is 10 to 15 minutes for the students. Dr. Ajaka already established that, and she discussed it very well. We have to understand that this is not a face-to-face session. This session cannot be 50 minutes or 1 hour. It shouldn't exceed 15 minutes. 15 minutes is already a lot of time.
You mean as a first step, instructors are supposed to send short videos or presentations to the learners?
Exactly.
And after that, they ask the learners to have a look, to read it, and then they will have a discussion. They will engage the students in the process. So like this, we guarantee that they are committed to watching the video or the PowerPoint presentation, and then participate in the discussion held online.
Of course.
Maybe they have more information concerning the subjects that they are
will
treating
help,
during
that will help a lot, because
so they will be more motivated during the online
exactly
lesson.
Because they are showing their knowledge. When you open the way for the learner to show their knowledge or what they have, they will be fully satisfied.
What are the, do you have more tips?
Yes, of course, we have a
Dr.
lot of tips. We have actually 14 tips for this course. We want people to be engaged in the session. As Dr. Ajaka already said, that we send a pre-recorded video or slides to the students. They have to read it, understand it by themselves without parents' help. Parents should understand that if they are helping the students, it's not good for your kids. Keep them, let them learn by themselves. The teachers will be helping them. Send those videos, and after the students watch the videos or read the slides, get back to them with a live session where the session will be open for discussion. You can engage with your students, let them talk, let them communicate. We don't need silent moment. This is crucial because online teaching with silent moment for the students will trigger laziness, will trigger boredness, and they will not be interested anymore. Make sure to use existing resources. You don't have to create everything by yourself. You're not the only math teacher in the world. You're not the only English teacher in the world. You have plenty of resources online. A lot of teachers have prepared resources.
But in online learning, they can't work it this way. They have to commit to what is given them according to the technological curricula.
Of course, we're not talking about giving them everything online or ask the students to go and search. You as a teacher know exactly what should be given to the students. You can go online and look for those resources, look for problems, for exercises, for discussion points, get what you think is best for your lesson and send them to your students. If we're talking about university level students or let's say grade 12 students, you can send them, we call them white paper. It's an open resource platform where they can go find research papers. They can read it, for example, and write about it write an essay about it, or summarize it, or even discuss it in a classroom. Also, make sure to give specific instructions for your students. When you suggest online media that runs for longer than 15 minutes, students will be put off watching. They will stop watching the videos. Give specific instructions, tell them exactly what they should be doing and where to go, what to read, and to make their life easier. Also provide interactive activities. The more interactive...
What if you ask them to do the work themselves?
Well, this is a good idea, but you have to be specific. Because
as long as we're not engaged, they should be engaged. We are the facilitators and the monitors. As long as we're monitoring them, why don't we ask someone among them to upload some material? Like that, we're helping them. We go in a circular way. Each time, we ask a student or a learner to do that, to upload the material for the class. Like that, we're helping them to improve their technological skills.
Exactly. This is very interesting. I've worked with a school where they do exactly this. It's a Canadian school. They send, they ask students to prepare the course themselves. So the teacher will be sending a lesson plan to the student or a group of students. Those students will go prepare this lesson and come back and present it to the class. So this methodology can be followed in online teaching. They can send those lesson plans to the students, ask them to prepare a short video, a PowerPoint presentation, or a small paragraph to describe or to teach other students. Let them go online and discuss it. This way you motivate people. You are actually giving the opportunity.
You're helping them to hold responsibility.
Exactly, you're giving them the opportunity.
That's what we don't have. We have a lot of difference between the real world and the virtual world. In the real world, you can communicate, you're face-to-face with a person, you can check the behavior, everything. But in here, he's behind the screen. So you're supposed to engage him in any task to keep his attention. And all we have to do is to observe that student, to monitor him, and to facilitate the process if we happen to find anything wrong with what he has been asked to do.
Exactly. The teachers job nowadays is totally different. Back then, the teacher is information provider. They gather the students and the teachers start giving them information. Today, it's totally different. Today, the teacher's job is to facilitate for the students so the students can find this information. The teacher is a facilitator. He will be helping them. He will be putting the students on the right track, how they should study, where to look for information. Because when they leave school, students will become employees, will have to search for information themselves. No one will be teaching them. They have an internet World Wide Web that is so huge with plenty of information. They have to know where to look for the information and what information is reliable and what information is not. So
like this, we are preparing them for their future jobs, and also we are motivating them to learn.
This is the future.
The work market needs such potentials and such skills.
Exactly.
By the way, the struggle is not just in the Middle East and North Africa. It's all over the world. Their plans were that they are going to have such a virtual world by the year 2030. But the pandemic imposed on them such a situation, and everybody is struggling, not just in here, all over the world. The only people who are not struggling, I believe, are the Finnish educational system, because they are getting everything at ease for their learners, and they are encouraging them and motivating them with every single thing they have, technologically speaking.
Of course, a lot of studies showed that also putting kids and the students a lot of time in front of a screen will trigger and affect their brain in the future. We should be limiting screen time for kids, especially for kids. And screen time is very crucial. We cannot put students 6 hours in front of a computer. We cannot. We as computer scientists don't even work 6 hours per day on a computer. Your eyes will not be okay, your brain will not be okay. A recent study that was done.
That's why we said that we have to prepare digital citizens, because among that the students will be aware that a lot of time spent behind the screen will make a lot of problems, health problems.
Exactly. A recent study was done in Lebanon. They showed that students who are learning online for more than 4 to 5 hours screen time per day are more, they have more susceptible to epilepsy. And this is not good for kids, especially.
Check the state of this child when you remove them a smartphone from their hands. They go nuts.
They go nuts.
That's right. Do you think, Dr. Eddy, that it's the same way, the same tips works for teachers for high school and KGs? It's the same way that we can treat the students?
Actually, no, it differs. The age is crucial for the students. You cannot treat a 6-year-old student.
Let's make it clearer for our viewers. The plan that you are giving fits for what classes? For what levels?
Yes,
primary, middle, and secondary?
Actually, this plan fits for everyone, but you have to mold it to...
of course, the way it fits your class.
It fits your class and your age, your student age. You cannot give, it's okay to give a grade 12 student a 20 minutes video, but it's not okay to give a 15 minutes video for a 6-year-old child. 5 minutes video is more than enough. Their attention span is shorter. You cannot ask a 6-year-old kids to go find something online by themselves. Internet is risky. They have to be monitored by their parents or by their teachers. Just you can provide them with links, like direct link to specific information, but older students can search online by themselves. They are less susceptible for bad things online.
But they don't have awareness as regards technology.
Exactly.
As I said earlier, they are taking it for fun. They have
That's
to be
right.
responsible when it comes to technology. It's their future. Their future is hanging there. They can't procrastinate.
Even for a 3 or 4 years old kid, an online class for about 50 to 60 minutes, I think it's too long for them.
It's 60 minutes is way longer than
Committing
expected.
suicide.
Yes, you're killing the student. You're not
Yes.
helping them.
How can we deal with
There is a school
ages?
that asked me once what to do with KG students. I told them if they cannot come to school to work with them, and if you are not prepared to send them activities to be done with their parents, just let it go.
That's what should be done.
Yes.
They have to follow what we call it as team education.
They
assign a task to the parents. The parents will sit with their children. They don't need to buy stuff from out. It's not costly, the process. They bring stuff from the house. They try to help their children to know how things works, how they can walk properly, how can they eat healthily, how can they do a lot of things. So by doing such a thing, they are helping their students a lot more than going to class and being with the friends and having fun.
Exactly. I told the school that if you cannot do exercises, if you cannot send exercises to parents and you cannot bring your students to school, don't give them anything. Don't give them a 60 minutes lecture online for a 5 years old.
It's so hard for them.
It is very hard.
Give me
It's
a
not
child
good.
for
You can't
12
let
hours.
them sit for 60 minutes.
Give me a child for 12 hours. I keep that child working without moving from the ground. I just assign for him or her tasks to do, and I leave that child. I watch that child to check where his creativity lies, and after that I work on the weak parts that he doesn't have in his personality.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be engaged with your students. We don't want the traditional educational system, our educational system in Lebanon.
Let's confess, they don't want to work.
They don't want to work.
They are resisting change, and the change is a must.
Yes, I understand that change is fear for some people, and ignorance is translated into fear as well. The more we are aware of our systems, the more we understand technology.
Knowledge is power.
And exactly, and the more knowledge we have, then we can adapt to this change, and we can be the change. You cannot adapt traditional educational systems online. You cannot give 60 minutes lecture to students. They cannot. No one can. I don't think we can even watch TV for 30 minutes at this.
After exposing them to the world of technology, are they going to sit still in class behind the desk and listening to what you are going to say?
Of course
Over
not.
there, there is the animation, something pops from here, from there. Everything is luring in there, not like sitting in class, listening to you, looking at you.
Yeah,
there, all
easy.
his senses are working.
Even in face-to-face.
And this will trigger his subconscious.
Exactly. Even in face-to-face sessions and classes, it's very hard to ask the student to remain sit in his position. That's why in our classes we used to give exercises. We ask students to do some research. We open discussion. You cannot leave the 3 minutes. Actually, this is the golden rule. You have 3 minutes of talking an online course. After those 3 minutes, you have to remember to ask students to start talking or discussing.
Or to recap what you have already
exactly,
said.
or to recap, paraphrase, and so on. This is how you trigger students to learn.
Joyce attended one of my classes once, and I have never spoken. I just asked who's gonna talk, and they spoke for 1 hour, 30 minutes without
They were
stopping.
discussing the topic.
Proceed, continue. I like that our viewers know about such an experience. I didn't have that kind of one-man show. No, I let them speak.
You feel that the students are motivated in this kind of classes.
Exactly. I was Dr. Aja's student once, and I took an English course.
It was face-to-face.
It was face-to-face.
But here it's different.
It's different now, yes. And it was amazing because as scientists, we don't like to take English and French and Arabic courses, but this class was amazing. She was very
Believe
smart.
me, an online course with Dr. Ajaka is amazing.
Yes.
I still remember he came up to me and told me, listen up, I'm a scientist and I'm not into English. I will attend the class. I don't know about the nature of the class, but all I can tell you is that you want to be patient with me. Is that what you said? And then he had the highest grade because of
yes,
his
and
performance.
I ended up writing in a magazine and became a writer. So yes, it's very amazing because the way she managed the class was smart. In an English class, you have students that are computer scientists, you have English literature students, you have like agricultural students, you have finance students. The way Dr. Ajaka managed the class was amazing. She gave us like, you read this article, and this was an article about technology. The people studying finance are reading articles about finance. And it's not like an article that you will never understand. It's about your major. It's about what you're doing on a daily basis. And this will become easy for you to understand and then summarize and then express yourself. And the better you express, this is English, this is any language, it's about expressing yourself. So this was a very smart idea.
So talking about the ways of making the lesson fun and engaging, is there any tips you can give to our teachers?
To make the lessons more engaging, we have to break them down, make them digestible, make them easy to be understood. Timing is crucial in online teaching, and you might find you need to break up your online lessons differently. You have to mix up the tempo. You have to give different roles.
Work in pairs, work in groups. Such things will make them feel happy. Remember, learning from peers is the most powerful way of acquiring. They can learn from each other so easily. You have to get the strongest, pass the message to that strongest, and assign him to be with other groups. They can get from their peers more than they can get from their teachers or their parents. They listen to their peers more than they do with their parents and instructors.
Exactly. Every student has encountered this at school when one of our peers help us doing a homework or help us understand a specific topic. So we understand more from our peers. From a student like myself will help me more than a teacher. So that's why a good teacher, as Dr. Ajaka said, should give and make sure that to provide the right information to those good students, powerful students, and ask them and create groups and make sure not to put all those good students in one group. Just mix the groups in your class and ask them to work together. And this strong, good student will be teaching his peers, and probably he knows better how to explain for those students. The more we engage in group work, the less boring the sessions will be.
We have to benefit from such influence. We have to benefit from such influence. Such a thing will lead us to the right shore. We're going to have good students who are motivated, happy, because they understand, they know the language of each other.
Of course, we have to make the students feel valued because isolation in this time can be a huge factor in making them feel demotivated. So they might think that no one will notice or care if they are missed or if they miss a class. So we have to learn the student's name. It's basic, I know, but if we know our students' name,
even if it's online, we should learn their names.
Will be linked to grades.
Exactly.
We tell students that your ongoing work will be graded on a daily basis.
Exactly.
There is no final grade. There is no mid grade. They are supposed to work on a daily basis, and we can get grades on the tasks they are doing on a daily basis.
of course, we, on daily basis tasks, like give them extra points to do extra curriculum activities.
Have you included in your plan a task that instructors should do while teaching? They have to write daily reports about every single student.
Yes, actually the problem is with the teachers now, they are complaining about the amount of time they're putting to prepare
but they are learning.
They are learning. And one of the things I want to share, that to share our feelings with our students and tell your student that this is the first time you're teaching online and you are learning while teaching them. So ask them to help you, because in previous episodes, Dr. Ajaka mentioned that this generation is a centennial generation. They know technology better than we do. They understand technology better than we do. So those students can help the teacher. And when
so it's not wrong to ask their help.
They are digital.
They can ask them their help, because a teacher is not a know-it-all. No one is a know-it-all. It's not bad for a teacher to ask a student about something. They can always refer to the students and ask their opinion, how the session was. Was it too long? Was it too short? Is there anything that I have to elaborate more? Have I wasted your time? Have I elaborated things that was acquired before, or so on? We have to engage with our students. Writing reports is very important. A good teacher is a teacher that keeps track of every single student he has. He has to write reports.
It will be passed on to other instructors.
Exactly, it will be passed on to other instructors.
That will facilitate the process of working at school. Where are the portfolios, e-portfolios? Such things will help.
Yes, exactly. With e-portfolios, writing reports has never been easier. You don't have to just write paragraphs and paragraphs. You can just create a checklist and for each student and check this what is acquired for each student. By this method, you will understand what are the weaknesses of each student. Probably all the students in this class has a specific weakness, have a common weakness. You can work on this. If they have a strength in this topic, encourage them. Tell them that they have a strength in different topics. Try to mix what topics is considered a weakness and related to a strength that they have. And this way, you'll encourage them more to work on their weaknesses. So I understand that online teaching is not as face-to-face teaching, but if we acquire it and if we understand it, it will become
easier.
Exactly. It will become easier.
We have access to all kinds of tools that may help us facilitate the process of learning.
Exactly. If all what it takes is to prepare your videos once, and you can use them always. Prepare your slideshow once, and you can use it always.
So it's difficult now, but it will be easier later.
Of course.
It's, we don't have to put the blame on instructors. Remember, they need to have a technological curricula, and they need to have a nice platform, all the tools needed. And by then they have to start working by engaging their students into the classroom, the virtual classroom, by delegating the tasks to them, by letting them work in pairs and in groups. Meanwhile, her or his responsibility is to write a report on a daily basis and prepare an e-portfolio for every single student. That e-portfolio will be given to the other instructors who will follow the students in the coming years.
Dr. Eddy Hourany, thank you so much for all your tips you gave us today. Dr. Ajaka, we will see you next week for sure. Thank you for being here. For here we come to end with our episode of Educology. Stay safe, keep smiling, and see you next week.